In this video, we're going to figure out how master YouTubers create consistently. I've already found it's not only about working hard,
but your hustle, your work ethic, your drive,
but it's also about working smart.
You want to have a plan to avoid burnout before it happens.
The number one reason I see come back again and again is having a solid workflow. Just to get a thought on the scale you guys work at, how many videos do you release each week?
On YouTube, we do 2 episodes a week. One is on Wednesday, it's called Creative Wednesday, and one is on Friday, that's Copycat Friday. As of social media, I think we do like 10 to 30 pieces of content a week. Yeah.
This time, I invited Timo, a filmmaker and editor who works for the team at Cinecom. As they have a quite huge audience on YouTube counting on them, their creative process needs to be on point.
Hi, my name is Jordy for Cinecom.net.
Now, I want to pick their brain and come up with a workflow to consistently create high quality videos in less time than it takes me now. For a typical not vlog YouTube video, you can define a filmmaking process in 3 different phases: pre-production, production, and post-production.
Now I took to the interwebs and compiled all the patterns I could find and noted down every step along the way so you can use that to base your own workflow from.
Now take in mind, depending on your own skill level, you might want to simplify the whole process and get used to creating first. But what every good video has in common,
it all starts with a great idea. Little sparks of inspiration appear when we're experiencing life. So it is important to have a notebook or note app ready for those moments you least suspected. For example, I save all those snippets in my Notion idea database. To start the whole ideation process, block out some time so you can select the best ideas, or you can hold a brainstorm session to further peer out little sparks.
it also helps to research trending topics in your niche to stay relevant with your content. But not all ideas are created equal, nor should you follow through on every last one of them. Pick one that fits with your strategy, your cultural events, temporal events, and of course the interest of you and your audience. Once you have a good video idea, you should already be thinking about titles and thumbnails. If you have this in mind from the start, you will always make sure the video stays in theme.
Plus, you will know what photos to make during the shoot, so you can save precious time. Small note, this is by far the hardest step for me in the entire process.
Now, depending on how fluent you are as a creator, you might or might not want to spend time writing a script for your videos. Although a good video keeps viewers engaged till the end.
So I recommend researching your idea to see what's been done before and how you can give it your own personal spin. Plus, at least coming up with a good structure so you know what your story will be about.
If you're like me, you suck at English and you might want to note everything down.
Writing a script also saves you time from hashing out all the bullshit you've been saying in the last 1000 takes. For this, I use a template that already has the 3-act structure laid down, as you can see here. To make it even better, I added a shot list below with the script, so I can easily note down details of how I want each scene to look like and have those shots in mind before I start shooting.
Here you can make the difference between A-roll, which is you talking to the viewer, like we're doing right now.
And that smooth, creamy B-roll.
All this will come together, ending the pre-production process and making up for the plan. Wait. This plan I will use for the shoot day like I'm doing right now and as a guide for editing afterwards. Now, this is all very detailed and there's no one perfect workflow. So Timo, do you have any thoughts on what the pre-production process looks like for Cinecom?
The pre-production is split up in 2. Like we have Creative Wednesday and we have Copycat. For Creative Wednesday, it's mostly Jordy. Pre-production, he's working on videos the entire week, IDs and scripts. He records his studio part, and usually on Monday when we come in, we shoot some B-roll. I make the edit and we do the finishing up on Tuesday. And for Copycat, Janik and Lorenzo are already thinking about IDs. We start on Wednesday with doing testing, scripting, and we shoot our sketch usually on Thursday. I start editing on Thursday and finishing up on Friday. Usually at 4 we try to publish.
I think the production side isn't really anything new for most of you creators, so I won't get into granular detail here. The biggest takeaway I had was splitting up my A-roll and B-roll shoots. Now I have a dedicated time to record all my talking headshots. For this I use a 16 to 35mm lens, preferably set wide enough so I can crop into the 4K frame later on to essentially have two camera angles. Plus, since I have a script, it's just so easy to move my camera around to capture different locations and different angles without losing too much time. It's a lot of work, but it keeps the video engaging when you're watching.
Small tip, put yourself as much in the corner as possible so you create a lot of depth in the background. This way, my small studio looks like this instead of this. There's a lot more going on that way.
To shoot my B-roll, I depend on my shot list to be as productive as possible. For example, the shots that are marked overhead will be recorded together, even if they're spaced throughout the video. For other B-roll, I tried to use the Becky and Chris 7-shot sequence. Shout out to you guys. This includes getting 1 wide establishing shot, 2 wide or medium shots, 2 close-ups, 1 abstract shot, and 1 super creative shot just to play around with. This is great to tell mini stories with your footage, but it also gives you a nice catalog to choose from in the edit. Just have to make sure you film between 10 to 20 seconds to have enough duration to play with. Last but not least, voiceovers. Nothing special, you can record them together with your A-roll like I'm doing right now and MKBHD does a lot, or you can record them separately on your computer. You just have to make sure that the audio sounds clean without too much reverb, which isn't perfect in this concrete studio. In the final phase, we're taking everything we shot and try to mold it into an engaging video. And let me tell you, this is an entire monster on its own. So many different techniques and styles you can choose from, but there are a few things you can keep in mind to stay in a flow state. First of all, organization is key. Save your project in a template you can duplicate over and over again. You'll know where everything is, whatever project that you're working on. Now you can reuse the same structure in your editing program and you'll never be searching where the damn file went. New video, just copy and paste. Killing your darlings. If a scene doesn't add to the story, even if you poured hours and hours into filming it, cut it out. Music is a difficult thing. You can lose hours and hours listening and pinpointing the right track. Instead, block a time to only listen and organize your entire music library. For coloring, ask yourself how important is having a distinct color grade versus the story of the video. Can you block out the time to do it? Or isn't it that important? You know, I always want to overproduce my videos, but coloring takes a great amount of work and time, so I simplified it from filming in log to now a more simple color profile. Now I can just slap on one LUT and it looks great 90% of the time. After all that work, it finally happened. You're ready to hit publish. But making your video is just half of the story, right, Timo?
I used to think that giving the video to your client was the end of the story, but on YouTube it's the beginning of the journey. Like you publish and the comments start rolling in, and then we turn to analytics where we can see which part of the video actually worked, where we have like the famous dip where the ad usually starts, the ad that everybody skips. And we can see what works, what didn't work, and maybe we need to change something up for next episode. It's just, yeah, you see everything in the analytics.
And from here, your timer has been reset. The process will start anew, and the only real thing you need to do now is learn from your mistakes, recalibrate, and maybe adjust your workflow. Do you have any last thoughts on staying consistent on YouTube?
So the thing is, we try to find small things to be a perfectionist in as little as time possible. So we have these small things that make the workflow go faster. Like we have a LUT for our GH5, the camera I use. I know the lighting in every location we shoot in, so I know how to color grade every clip. We have a preset sometimes for the audio, even for the guys with lav mic or without lav mic. And it's just trying to find those little things that you can use to speed up your workflow and trying to find things to lose as little as time possible while working.
So if you want to hear the full version of our conversation and the bangers Timo has been dropping there, you can now listen to it on my podcast, Creator Secrets, link down in the description below.
The thing is, you can have a great workflow, but without a workplace that's optimized for your creative ideas, you won't get very far. In this video, I'm showing you how you can set up your own studio no matter the space you have available. Good to see you there.